I want to share what I learned from a billionaire today. Hey, what's up? This is Dan, and today I had an opportunity to speak with a billionaire. Now, I don't know if he's a billionaire or not, but I do know he built two companies that were worth over $1 billion. Now, um, I don't normally get nervous anymore when it comes to those kind of things, but today, for whatever reason, I had the jitters, and it's probably because I've been wanting to ask this question for a very long time, and it was just one of those things. I was always trying to ask this question to someone further ahead of me, and I'm always, to be fair, I'm like one of those people that when I'm obsessed with getting a question answered, I'm obsessed, right? Natural. I'm a natural obsessor on getting answers to questions that I have. Okay. And so I want to share with you kind of the context so you can understand what his evaluation was. So right now we're at about 11. We did 11 million last year, and we're on pace to do 15 to 17 million dollars. And I was like, how do we get past that, right? And their biggest challenge right now is lead cost, not necessarily lead cost, but customer cost. Like it's costing us a lot to get a customer, and if we keep growing that, it's just more of the same, and it feels like a death of a thousand cuts. And it feels like literally I'm praying for the business not to run under every single day because it's like so much risk and so much pressure to keep the machine running that it almost feels a little bit like overbearing. And one of the cool things he kind of gave to me, he shifted my mindset. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, I thought in my way, I was thinking he was going to give me a certain type of thing. He was going to say, this is what you need to do, and this and that. And he kind of shifted my mindset to think a little bit differently. And he asked me the question, um, and I had this in my mind. I was like $100 million in 36 months. And he said, if you do this play in 36 months, he didn't say 36 months. He actually said 3 years. And so it was very in line with what I was already thinking. And I had already had this inclination of what the vision of where we're trying to go is looking like. And I had already mentioned this to David, and I was telling him like, this is what I think is going to happen. I think this is going to be the play. I think we're going to go right here. This is where we're going to fit in the marketplace. And he was like, David was like, yeah, I think you're right. Like, let me marinate on it. And him and I are very like we're very analytical, but we're also fast to take actions. And so when I started asking these questions, I was like, well, we're at 15 million. We're gonna sorry, we're pacing towards 15 to 17 million. There's gonna be a little up or down swing. We don't know yet, but and one of the biggest challenges is we keep scaling it and it just keeps breaking. And he said, you're in CRO hell. And then I was like, that's what it feels like. Like we're trying to tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak to oblivion. And it feels like we're just split testing ourselves to death. And it feels like we're just trying to manage something that's just not going to improve substantially. Like if we do more, nothing really is going to come from it. And that was kind of a backwards way of approach or thought process that I was accustomed to, because the founder in this case, Alex, is typically one of the guys that's like, do more, don't shift, right? And so I was under the impression like I'm a good student, in fact probably one of the best students, and so I'm like, okay, just do more, try to improve this thing more and better. And Sharon actually gave me a new or different way to think about it. And this was cool because his big two ideas was, number one was partnerships, which obvious, right? But it brought up some really interesting and intriguing thought processes when he was saying it to me, because I've said it to myself, yeah, partners, and I was thinking to myself affiliates and all that stuff, and we've tried that. Get me wrong. Um, but then he said, if you had to take up 80% of the market share of this particular industry, what would you do and who would you go to partner with? And I started thinking right off that rip, I'm like, I'm just telling you guys, like, what I was thinking was, what if we just literally give away one of our core tenets of our business for free for their community, assuming that they're qualified? If they sign up through their community, we give our stuff for free, in a way to get introduced to their community, but also to get that partnership for life. And I'm thinking in my head, how do I create a partnership for life, not a customer for life? Because a customer will pay me a certain amount. A partnership will pay me compounding interest, meaning if I have the right partner collaboration will accelerate me much further and much faster than a customer. And as soon as he said that, he didn't tell me that verbatim, but he did say partnership, and that was the spark. That was like the whoa. If this could work, what if we just take our thing that we actually spend dollars on to fulfill? What if we stop spending it on Facebook ads or whatever? What if we just take our what we're spending on cost to fulfill and we use that and call it marketing budget, and we literally just go plug it into an AI CPA, a big firm that services all of our ideal clients? What if we just go over there and say, we'll just give all your community this thing at no cost? What would they say? That's an offer basically they can't refuse. But the greatest news is that if they get us introduced to their people, the upside is limitless. We can count how much it costs. We can't count what the upside is. So I'd rather trade something that I know I can trade for something I know is an upside for, based on like the past experiences. And I'm like, and just thinking in my head, I'm thinking these thought processes. And then the second thing was, he said, you need to become the platform by which all people that try to reach out to the tax community come through you. And I started thinking, I was like, that's exactly what we're thinking that we wanted to do. Like our $100 million a year play is a marketplace, if you will. It's like buyers and sellers, right? People buying strategies and people selling strategies between each other, with tax firms at the center, right? Or CPA firms, accounting firms, wealth management, all that stuff at the center. And there's buyers and sellers as far as strategies are concerned. And we just facilitate the relationships and become a platform. And that right there is the $1 billion insight that I don't know how long it would take to apply it, but I want to record this and put it on here so that if it does happen and when it does happen, we can say we called the shot, right? We can say we called it. And if it doesn't happen, then we can just say, okay, that was a lesson. And it was a good lesson to not do, or it was a good lesson to do, right? So no way do you fail by learning these lessons. And this was my first time ever experiencing having a conversation with a billionaire. So like in my head, I had been talking to people that have been doing 50, 60, $100 million a year. But once like someone that was like, I built $2 billion companies. Now, to be fair, Russell Brunson built a $1 billion company. But this is like $2 billion companies simultaneously. So I'm kind of aside for myself right now. I'm like, man, this is a good lesson to learn, and this is great information that I think it's almost obligation that I have to share this with you guys and just kind of share with you my thoughts and what ideas sparked from what he shared with me. And also yesterday, yeah, that happened today. That was just one thing that I thought was pretty amazing that he shared with me, and really changed my mindset on this approach. So I don't think this approach is going to go right away. My objective is still to go up market, meaning to go get to the bigger, better customers. But if I could give away all the other stuff to the lower value customers so that we can get in the door with them and bring them up the value ladder, if you will, I think that would be a solid game plan to as a go to market strategy. And so I'm just thinking right now all the possibilities. I can go up to the top of the firms, meaning I can go higher, but our marketing and our sales process can go wider, which is like pretty unique thought process in and of itself. So anyways, if this was helpful for you or you got something from it, let me know in the chat. I mean, this is just information I like to provide because I'm learning it in real time. And I just wish people, more people were sharing the thoughts and the things that they were doing as they were doing them. So see you in the next video.